All right, back once again for the Renegade Master. So we move on to the left angle cross of refinement on the 60 profile. An example of this is the 60 brain. They're the archetypal examples of forgetfulness. They're perfect. They walk out of room, they don't even know where they were or what, and don't care. They're perfect. It's almost this existential perfection because they're so good at forgetting. They are the kind of people that by the time they enter into school, they realize that when summer vacation is over, they've forgotten everything they learned before, and they're horrified. It's going to catch up on them. It's not like they've had bad memories. They do not. Oh, they remember every face of every man that put them there, and they remember every mistake you ever made. There's an unbelievable arrogance that there is because they know all that, and basically they would like to forget it. If you want to leave a relationship with them, don't make any mistakes. It's not like they will tell you. And they will try to forget that you're useless. But they don't have a bad memory. They remember you're useless. And the only way to get and be spared from your uselessness is if you don't show up anymore, so that they can forget that you ever existed. They are classic of this. Every 6-2 has a touch of this. Then the 6-3. If you're going to be a 6-3 and you're going to be on this cross, there's something that really haunts you. You don't know anything about initiation and duality. You don't, and you're so close to it. It's not like being one of these or other gates in the track that's looking over and it can just move. There's this chasm that's there. There's a risk. You can't hide. You have to deal with the other. Not only do you have to deal with the other, you have to be truly intimate with the other. You have to go make more. You have to live together. The 60 stands here and says, can I go back? Can we just stay here? Here on the form side and not get into the dualities business because that would be really nice. Is it okay? No, 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 no. And what do you see in all six trees is that they have this ever tiptoeing. They love to do their toes into the next happy row. They spend most of their lives tipping their toes into the next happy row. But when you do this here, and you just for a little bit second, the moment you do that, there's one of these other things right in your face. You can't escape it. And in that moment, you must have a role. When you're looking at this first half of the wheel, we've gone through the first half of the wheel. The first half of the wheel only establishes the principles, the yang and the yin principles. They're not basic principles. You come into the world, you come into the world of mind. You come into a world of mental play, where life is fulfilled through mental purpose. But the mind can only be established in the form. The mind can only be established when there's a brain. You're dealing with two basic principles of the energy and the matter. Now, what we get to see is that it happens when you bring them together. And when we finally get to the end of our process, we get to see the byproduct of their being together. But in this duality, we see that those forces trying to find a way to be one, trying to find a way to be a whole, then to be a divide again. This whole reproductive process. So the sixth tree standing on the edge is facing a real world. And of course, what you meet in most six trees in this cross is deep, deep reticence to bond with the other. In other words, this is great fear that they can end up having a life of celibacy. They can end up having a life in which they have very, very little consequential contact with the opposite sex. Because the risk is, wow, you have to leave your retreat behind. You have to enter into the world of law, in which you have to play a part, counter other. There's no life without the other. We're always dealing with the other. So here's the 363. It's quite a jump. So yeah, quite a jump for these people. Now, then we go to the next quarter, the quarter of duality. Quality of duality is all about bonding. This is why we bond with the other. This is why we connect to the other. And it all starts on the seventh gate, and the seventh gate is the gate of the army. I want to get into the army, general, savior, all around us right now, here to come to help us. Okay, so here we keep going into the seventh.